Hello mamas and anyone out there who's looking to get their first pull-up. In this video, I'm going to share step by step how I went from 0 pull-ups to 10 pull-ups in about 6 months. Now, I do want to disclaim, if you are postpartum and you have not been seen by a doctor, midwife, or pelvic floor therapist, I highly encourage you to get cleared before attempting any of the things that I'm going to show you in this video. It's so important that you give your body time to heal, and everyone's timeline is going to be different for when they want to begin exercise. That being said, I am a certified personal trainer through ACE, and I have worked with postpartum and prenatal women. So I knew during pregnancy kind of the things to be working on before I even had a baby. I did a lot of deep core, which I'm going to go into in this video, and I weightlifted all throughout pregnancy. Now, given I was not weightlifting near as much as before I got pregnant, so I did lose a lot of muscle during pregnancy, but I was able to gain it back rather quickly and get my pull-ups back really quickly just from implementing these things that I'm going to show you in the video. I attempted my first pull-up postpartum at about 3-ish months, give or take, and I did this with the supervision of my pelvic floor therapist. Once again, if you have never seen a pelvic floor therapist, I highly recommend doing so because they'll be able to actually look at everything down there and give you exercises specific to how your body is healing and your birth. Even if you haven't had a baby, you can still go see a pelvic floor therapist because each one of us has such a different body and has been through different experiences. So the exercises that my pelvic floor therapist gave me to do may not serve you in your journey. All that to say, when I attempted my first pull-up, I felt a lot of strain in my core, and I knew that was not a good sign. So I stopped. I talked with my pelvic floor therapist, and she gave me some things to implement. In the videos that I'm about to show you are some of the exercises that I did in my program to really work on my deep core. Bringing me to step number 1, which is to strengthen your deep core. Here I'm going to show you a few of my favorite exercises that I like to do before I start any sort of workout. I also will do about 3 to 5 minutes warming up, getting my heart rate up before I do any of these exercises. The reason why it's so important to learn how to engage your deep core, aka your TVA, your pelvic floor, all of that, is because that's going to play a vital role in any sort of exercise that you do. Think of it as the foundation, the supporting piece that is just going to help your journey go that much faster. Here I'm doing a banded knee raise, so I just put a band around both of my feet, lifting up my knee and making sure to engage my core and breathe correctly. Another great deep core exercise is heel taps. Here I'm showing you that you want to tuck your pelvis in, make sure there's no gap, and you're going to lift one leg at a time. Again, making sure that you are inhaling on the lengthening and exhaling as you bring your knee in. That's going to be the concentric portion of the movement. So just remember, try to pretend like you are zipping up your core, bracing your core in as you exhale. To modify, bring your knees in closer to your body. This will make it a little bit easier, and to make it more challenging, you can put your knees further away from your body. Another great one is going to be bird dogs. These are pretty self-explanatory, but if you need more ideas on deep core exercises, you don't have to use these. There's plenty of great resources out there online and YouTube videos where you can find a lot of other deep core exercises that may feel better to you or that your pelvic therapist recommends you do over the ones I'm showing in the video. The main point is to choose 3 deep core exercises to implement each week. You can do that every time you train, before you train, after you train, really up to you. Again, I like to do it before I weightlift because it just kind of primes my mind to be thinking about breathing correctly and engaging my core for every lift that I will be doing in this video. Step number 2, strengthen your pull-up muscles. What do I mean by that? Just your lats? No, I mean all of the pull-up muscles. Your rear delts, biceps, mid-back, traps. You want to be strengthening all of those muscles. Here I'm starting with a bent over barbell row. You could do dumbbells, you could do single arm dumbbell row, any sort of row that's going to be working those parts of your back and biceps. This one will hit a little bit of your biceps as well. And of course, this wouldn't be a back workout, a pull-up workout, without doing some form of a lat pull down. The idea here, have 1 or 2 rowing variations and 1 or 2 lat pull down variations in your back or upper body workout. If you do full body, just make sure you are training these muscles once or twice a week. Step number 3, the moment we've all been waiting for, practice pull-up progressions. First progression that I started with was negatives, and I still implement them to this day. Although I don't jump off a box anymore, I just slowly descend from my pull-up. The modified progression is on the side of the screen, and this is the progression that I actually started with and worked my way up to partial reps. Partial reps is just shown on the screen. It's where you don't complete the full movement, but you're just going from halfway to the top of the bar. And I would always end my pull-up session with scapula retractions. This is just a good way to burn out those muscles and strengthen that part of your back. In summary, I started with negatives, moved to partial reps, then when I could do that, chin-ups and then pull-ups. The last step is going to be practice visualizing yourself getting that first pull-up. I know that pull-ups can be a real mental game, even as someone who is almost hitting 10 pull-ups. I have been plateaued at 8 or 9 pull-ups for a while now, and it's the most frustrating thing because I'm so close to getting 10, but I really notice that I start to get in my head about it towards the end. And so that's why I want to encourage you guys to, every time you go to the gym, before you're going to do a pull-up, or even like as you're driving to the gym, just think about yourself hitting that pull-up. What will it look like? What would it feel like? What does your body need to do to get there? For example, just remembering bracing that core, engaging your core, and really lifting with your lats. That is going to help you so much. And even having someone there to cheer you on, I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes when my husband cheers me on.
Come on, 5, keep going, 6, one more. Pull. Yeah, there you go.
Versus when I'm like working out alone, because it's easy to let those thoughts of like, oh, I can't do it, I'm getting tired, just drown out and like replace the feeling of I can do this. And so when you hear someone cheering for you, it's a lot easier to focus on their voice rather than the voices in your own head. So shout out to my husband. He's the best husband because he knows how to get me to push myself past my limits more than anybody else that I know. And I think it's just because he knows like what I'm capable of. And so if you don't have a partner or someone to work out with you, this is where a trainer can come in. Again, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but a trainer will help you so much to push you past what you think you're capable of and really help you to get there with proper form and technique. And lastly, a myth that I just want to bust, or something that I want to address, is that you don't have to be skinny to get a pull-up. I feel like a lot of people think that it's just natural for people that are thin to have an easier time getting pull-ups. And while yes, it's going to be easier technically because you're having to lift up less weight. In my personal experience, and what I think is that what matters less is how much you weigh and more about how much muscle mass you have. I have found that I'm able to hit PRs when I am in a building phase, aka if I'm eating at maintenance or if I'm eating in a slight surplus, I'm able to do a lot more than what I would be able to do at a deficit or even in a lower weight. I just recently finished a little cutting experiment. I cannot talk today. And what I found is the lower I decrease my calories, even though my weight was dropping like crazy, I was plateauing. I was having a really hard time pushing myself just because I didn't have that extra energy, and I actually lost a little bit of muscle. So all that to say, even though I was less, it was actually way easier for me to get those extra pull-ups in when I was about 3 to 5 pounds heavier. So don't let weight discourage you. Yes, if you have tons and tons of excess weight, it is going to be more of a challenge. Like, that is just science. That's how things work. It's more for you to have to lift up, but focus more on building muscle and implementing that progressive overload like I talked about before. And that is going to serve you so much more than focusing on getting super thin and getting super skinny. And that is all from me for today. But if you can think of anything that I missed that helped you get your first pull-up, or just something that you've been implementing that's really helped, please comment below. I would love to hear, and I'm sure everybody else watching trying to get their first pull-up would appreciate that. I really, really hope this video helped you and that you are able to just move past any discouragement that you felt or feelings of that you'll never be able to get it, because you will. Consistency is key. I know it's oversaid, but really greasing the groove, practicing as much as you can, getting a pull-up bar and having it in your house. I know that helped me. I would just do a pull-up or do a variation every time I walked through that door. So just practice, practice, practice. And if something is not working after a few months and you find you haven't progressed, try something else. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube about pull-ups. I'll link some of the ones below that really helped me out, and that might give you some other tips as well. See you guys in the next video.